Hello and welcome to the P Security channel. Today I've got DrWeb 8.0 beta, which just got released pretty recently. So let me just guide you through the install process so that we can see how the new installer looks like. You can see they've changed the installer's interface and now it looks a lot better. You can see the DrWeb Shining Shield coming out of a package. And right now it's just preparing the files, so let's wait. Meanwhile, we can check out the size of the installer. It's 156 megabytes. Not too big. So you can see it's a brand new interface. You have to accept the license agreement, and I'm going to install it just with the default settings. I'm going to install the firewall. Okay, I got to find my key here. Okay, and I'll just hit the big install button. And as you can see, the installer looks a lot like the Windows 7 install. We've got the percentage, and this thing is running. So it looks a lot better, and it's a lot more informative. You can know what's the progress of the installation. So all over, I think it's a much better interface than what it was last time, because last time this thing just kept rolling and it was a lot slower as well. So it's an improved installer. Now while it's installing, let me just tell you what are the changes in this new version. In fact, it's a beta, so there might be a few bugs. But the major changes that have taken place is right now they've unified the interface, and you no longer have to click on the things again and again to go to separate modules. All the modules can be accessed through one unified interface. So that's something that was really needed, and they have done that. So let's see how the new interface looks like. And also, the most important thing that as a tester I think it is that their last version barely had any kind of zero-day protection. It was more or less completely signature based, but in this version they have mentioned that they've included some kind of you can say a HIPS component that can block certain suspicious actions, like it can block access to the host file, stop unknown objects from modifying critical system objects, and we'll see how much you can customize that and how exactly it works out. But I think from a security point of view, this is the most important change that we've got. And also I think now they have a DrWeb cloud. So let's see, I'm not sure about the cloud thing. We'll see how exactly the new application looks like and what new components they've added. So I guess I'll just pause and I'll be back when this installation is complete. Just do an update and everything. Update says error. That shouldn't happen. Now it wants me to reboot, so I'll reboot, and then I'll do an update, and I'll be right back. Well, I just rebooted, and looks like DrWeb's update is almost complete. However, I did notice some kind of error when doing the first time update, so that's probably some kind of issue with the beta. Because I'm pretty sure I've just done a clean install, there's nothing on this system, so I shouldn't be encountering any issues. But from what I can see, they're having some issues with their update right now. But hopefully this time it will, complete it successfully. So now let's take a look at the interface. As you can see, it's still, you can't really double click on it to get anything. You still have to go into either guard and you'll have to select statistics. And but now if you do that, you get different tabs over here, so you don't have to close this and again go and check the other one out. You can just see all of them together over here, which is much easier. So let's just go into administrative mode so that we can see some of the advanced settings. It's a beta, so it's a little bit buggy at the moment. And it also kind of like crashes for a moment while starting up. When you reboot the system, just gives you an error and everything, and then it just starts up to normal. So okay, so we're back in administrative mode, and let's take a look at some of the advanced settings now. So the spider guard, you can see scan mode is optimal, and it's going to use the heuristics. It recommends me to scan objects over LAN, but I don't have LAN, so I don't need that. So now by default it cures infected files, but I'll just delete everything. Just to keep it simple, just delete all the stuff that it finds. Other than that, there's not really a lot of settings in here. You can see the spider gate, which is their web blocking, checks incoming traffic, blocks known infection sources, and also non-recommended sites. Okay, so you can check the advanced settings and scan priority. I don't know, it comes set up a strange way, because you can see it's set to paranoid by default. I haven't messed with any of the settings, and I just opened it up right now, and it says it's not recommended, and this is recommended. So anyway, I'll just leave it the way it came. Now you can also block objects that have not been checked. That way you'll only be able to visit websites that are whitelisted by them. Or you can block malformed websites. I'm not going to mess with anything at all. Just hit cancel. And they've got an application filter, so you can, can select an application and decide which ports to allow or not. I'm not going to mess with those. Then you have, of course, your mail protection. I won't be using this. You've got your firewall. Okay, let me see. So you can allow or block internet access. I don't know how exactly it's set up right now. It's set up at training mode, so it's going to create some rules. Then you have your parental controls. I'm not going to be using this as usual. And now let's take a look at the main settings, and here you can see the notifications, update, and antivirus network. This is kind of like you can scan your computers over your local area network and all that. Now this is what I'm really interested about, the preventive protection. And this seems to be some kind of a HIPS, what I'm seeing. See, it blocks a certain level of suspicious activities. Like right now by default it's recommended to just set it to minimum. That way it blocks a low level access to disk and the host file. It doesn't allow any application to modify the host file. And it also blocks automatic modification of main critical areas that are used by malicious software. And this is recommended, but again it's not enabled by the factory settings. I mean, I installed it just now and I haven't changed any of the settings, but it's disabled by default. It tells you to enable it, I'll enable it. And then you've got the DrWeb Cloud. So again, by default it says I'll decide later. Maybe all these problems are because it's a beta. So I want to participate in the program. That's what I want to do. And you can check your logs. So you've got your quarantine. You can set up a proxy server. Language, of course, you can go Russian because DrWeb's made in Russia. And you've got your self-protection. Can protect your settings with a password if you want to. Okay. Now when I'm trying to disable it, still asks me a password, and if I hit cancel, it disables it anyway. So that's another thing, small little thing that's not so good looking. So that's basically it. So I'll just go ahead and hit save. Okay, let me just, since this is a beta, I think I'll change one setting in there. Yeah, I'm going to change this preventive protection. I'll set it, you can set it to paranoid or medium if you want. I'll just set it to medium and see if I get any conflicts or anything. If I don't get anything, then I guess I'll just leave it that way. Okay, so let's just save it, and now let's check out the RAM usage. I know this is a beta, but no harm in taking a look. Okay, so it uses about 5 process, or 6 process right now, and it seems pretty light, in fact, compared to the last version. Right now it's using about 40 megs. It's moderate RAM usage, but okay, they've got some more process too. Okay, so we're looking at about 55 megabytes or something like that. But it's still comparatively lighter than their last version, because if I remember right, their last version was like crazy high on RAM. I mean, they used to have, I think, about more than 100 megs of RAM usage. So it's an improvement, but then again, and this is a beta, so it might even go down a lot further. So let's just do a quick little link test to see how their 0-day and all is working. So I've got some links here that are all less than 24 hours old. Let's see how DrWeb protects us. The first one's blocked by Spidergate, and the reason is it's a known infection source. Okay. Second one's also a site that is not recommended. Third one's also a known infection source, so their web blocking's really doing some serious work. This one's also blocked. These are all like Trojans and you know, all verified, kind of like malware. I don't think there's anything down here that's a false positive. This one's dead. Here's a Java exploit, and it's blocked. Recent threat detected. So the other ones were not, the threat exactly wasn't detected, but it's a known infection source, so it got blocked. Hey, this one's also dead. I've got some extra links today, so some of these might turn out to be dead. Okay, this one's a fake Flash player, and it got blocked as well, so the web blocking's doing a fantastic job so far. This one's also a known infection source. And I haven't got any kind of things there like adware, just PUP. I think most of these are serious threats. And this one might be adware, in fact. So let's go ahead, try out the next one. This one too got through. This one looks like a Trojan. and it seems to have disappeared. Okay, this one wants administrator privileges. This one's right there in RAM. It wants to install something, so I'll just do that. Let's just continue here. I think I only have a couple of adware. I know this, and I guess this one might be adware as well. So DrWeb does seem to be blocking the major stuff. Okay, this is cut by the firewall. It says the digital signature. It says there's no appropriate rule for this application, and it was launched by an unknown process. It's a firewall alert. Might as well allow it, because even if I let it, if I just block it, it's still going to be running anyway. Okay, again, it wants an outbound connection. If you're a regular user, you might be allowing it, but I just want to see if it downloads any other threads. Will DrWeb protect us? So this one also seems to be dead. Here's a zip file. Crashed. Oh no. Looks like just some kind of like, crack or something like that. Illegal software. Doesn't really look like a security threat to me. And this one seems to be dead, so. But we do have a couple of things that successfully ran. And I didn't even notice a single thread being blocked by this HIPS, or I don't know if this is a silent one. Maybe this is silent and it just blocks access, it doesn't ask you. But I don't know, I'll just find out. And I had participated in the cloud, of course. So now I'll just do a scan with, I'll first do a scan with Norton PowerRacer, and I'll be right back. Norton PowerRacer doesn't seem to have found any threats, so I'll just go ahead and do a scan with Malwarebytes, and I'll be back with the results. Welcome back. Malwarebytes says it's found 93 infections. I have a feeling these all might be registry keys. In fact, not. In fact, all of them are files and folders almost. So it's a piece of adware that we have on the system, this China ad or Chin ad, whatever you like to call it. And it's all over the place. It's got like so many files in here. They're all located in program files, and then we've got a few folders too. So I mean, this is a bunch of crap. Nobody probably wants this on their system. I know adware isn't that major, but this is just crap. A lot of it. And it says it's made some registry keys as well. So I'll just go ahead and remove all of this. I don't think anything's active, so I'll just leave it this way. And now I guess I'll do one more scan with Hitman Pro and show you guys the results. Welcome back. Hitman Pro hasn't found anything, so the only thing that DrWeb let in was that one piece of adware. And that did a lot of things to the registry, made a lot of folders. So DrWeb did do a pretty good job, with their signatures as you'd expect. But I still don't see how well this prevention works, because the adware did change quite a lot of registry keys, and I didn't get a single alert, and I took it up to medium. So, but the way it's set up, it looks like it's only going to tell you or block an action. You can even go to custom, and okay, so by default it's not set to ask you about anything. Okay, now here's a bug that I can see. If I just roll my mouse over these things, they just seem to disappear from here. There you go, you can see everything's in here, and you can select exactly what you want to do in each case. Like you can select whether to allow, ask, or block access to the host file, driver loading, all kinds of things. But I think they still need to add some things in here, like what to do about the registry key changes. I think it needs to be a bit more complicated than this. But anyway, the way it's set up right now, it's going to prevent any major kind of disasters. Like, it's not going to let a piece of malware totally screw up your system and render your computer so that it doesn't even start up. So it's going to prevent things like that, but still then, for minor infections like adware, this thing still needs a little bit of improvement. Other than that, their signatures are always, as always, very good and responsive. I still don't know how this cloud thing works, whether it's a seamless integration that you don't exactly get to know which is the cloud and which is the antivirus. It just blocks other things. But then again, this was just a minor prevention test. When they release the final, I'll be doing a much more detailed test and a zero-day test, so at that time maybe we'll get to know a little bit more about the program. But right now it's got quite a lot of bugs that I showed you just now. You can see what can happen. You can see it's funny, but isn't so funny when you're trying to deal with some malware and DrWeb's playing with you. So yeah, this is a beta, as I said, and it's got a lot of bug fixes to come to get installed, and it's still got a long way to go before they release the final version. But I think this initiative by DrWeb to include preventive protection in the cloud is good, and we're looking forward to the final release. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a nice day. I'll talk to you guys later.